Good evening, everyone. This is Gary from Apex Pro Group, and tonight I wanted to share some information about the Traders Dynamic Index, and I wanted to give you some information about it, and hopefully you might learn something or refresh yourself. So let's begin. And what we can see here is this is an enlarged version of the TDI on the M15. Now the TDI is made up of several components, and it's also known as the trader's buddy. So it's almost like a multi time frame indicator that can be used to read the market sentiment from one time frame almost. So it's made up of a few components. You've got these Bollinger Bands at the top and the bottom. These kind of dynamically print the trading range of the extremes of it at the current time. So these are very useful. They also show us the volatility of the market and like the speed that it's moving. So if it's consolidating, the bands will be often really tight together like this, and the price will just be looping in between them. It's also, the volatility bands are very good for the extremes as well. So when price reaches a high or a low, often the these will be overextended and will go outside of them, but we'll get to that in a moment. Then we have another thing here called the green line, which is the price line, and this represents price action normally on the M15, the green one. And then we have the signal line, the red one here. And this is the signal line, and this moving average here, this represents price action on the H1. And then the slower one of the three, we have the market baseline, which prints like the price action of the H4. So the basis of the indicator is that we can see a change in trend on M15 first, then also slower H1, and then H4. So if we have all three of these in agreement with each other, then that is a good, strong confirmation of the direction of the market. So let's also talk about the levels on the TDI. So up here we have above 68, above 63, 50, which is like a consolidation. It's like a neutral zone here. We have 37, 32, and then we go down towards like 20, and also up above 80 and stuff above here. So these areas above 68 are considered highly overbought, and below 32 are considered really oversold. So if you see the lines going across the dotted lines, look at where they are and where price is, because if you have this green price line goes outside of the blue line and back inside, that's known as a shark fin. So if that happens at, say, below the 32 level, you know that you're probably making a low of the day, possibly, because it's so oversold, for example, here, that a reversal could be due. So obviously these only take into consideration the close price. And then we also, after that, the green line goes back inside and crosses the signal line here. That's a confirmation of M15 and then H1. And then when we cross the market baseline here, the green signal line, price line, sorry. And the NBL has also turned away from the downward direction and is up and not flat. That is another sign that price is going up, 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 up with a big impulse. And also, when we start buying, the price is now above the 50 level. Above the 50 and to 68 is the buy zone. When most of the TDI is above that, we are in buying area, so price should be going up. And when we are below the stack 50 down to the 32 before we get too over sold, we are in the sell zone and should be going down. Price, when it reaches the other side up here, if this is up above the 68 at extreme levels, this is often a sign to exit, or can be a sign of reversal once price comes back inside the bands. But just be wary that as price stays up above the signal line and the NBL, then it can keep going up and up and up. That's very important to bear in mind. Yeah, so it's important to look at where the majority of the price action on the TDI is. If it's above the 50, then you're buying. If it's above the market baseline, you're probably buying. If you're buying, the market baseline should be flat or tilted upwards, not tilted downwards. The market baseline can tell you when the dealer is done stop hunting, because it will turn. When the dealer is still pushing down, like here, the market baseline is still down. There's no reason to be going long yet. If you want to go long, you can wait until the market baseline has turned in the upward direction. Price has crossed the signal line and the NBL, and has also touched the volatility bands at the bottom. Those are the confirmations you're looking for. I want to talk about the volatility bands again. When the volatility bands are close together and the stack 50 is here, the NBL is here, and most of the price action, the green and signal line, are here, then that is price goes back to the 50 level and the NBL to consolidate and range, and then it impulses to the extremes up and down, and usually pulls back to the 50 area to gain more orders, and then impulses off, comes back down, impulses back. So it can actually use the market baseline and the TDI to count consolidations and pushes when it goes to the extremes. Like that'd be 1, that'd be 2, which is very useful. Let me just clear those. So I lost my drawing tool then for a moment. Let me share screen again. So we lost the drawing tool there. So we were talking about let me just draw. So we were talking about the volatility bands. When they're squeezed together, price is going sideways normally like this on the chart. So if you see the TDI volatility bands start to open, this means that volatility is increasing and the market will move either up or down generally. So for example, here they started to open up. They started to open up here, and then price shot down and back up. So yeah, that is a useful thing to bear in mind. Here they opened up, price started to cross over the NBL, and the NBL started to go down. Price crossed the signal line, touched the upper band to give us a shark fin, gave us an M formation, crossed the market baseline flat and started to turn. And then you probably would have seen that on the chart as well, and you could have took a short. So that all these things are really useful. Then remember, once you're below the 50, you've probably got downward movement as well. But also using the market baseline, because it's dynamic, can help you too. But make sure you've got the turn in the direction away from the extreme. What else did I want to tell you? So another thing, if you use the 5 and 13 EMA, and 13 EMA, often the red and green line will mimic the 5 and 13 EMA on the chart. So if you see an M here, you'll probably see the same with the ketchup crossing the mustard on the second leg too. So that was basically all I wanted to cover in that slide. Let me just clear these drawings. Just had to have a drink and go back to the mouse. So as the bands open up, the volatility is increasing. The NBL is turned up. We had a shark fin outside the bands, likely to be on M15. This one, likely to be the low of the day. Other confirmations, in this case, this could be a V bottom. So on the chart, you might just see a V bottom, and then price give us our 3 levels, and this would be our low of the day. See, it's at extreme levels. Price got above the 50. Price crossed the NBL pointed up, and away we go. And at the same time, the bands were opening up too.
Scratch me on the face. Scratch.
So these things can really help us with the TDI. Then let's just look at an example from the flashcards I made earlier. And we can see from here that we had high of the day with the shark fin. The NBL started to turn down and price started to move down. Price came underneath the market baseline and the signal line, and price started to move back down in the downward direction. It was also beneath the 50 level, and then we pulled back and had a NBL bounce, and price continued to move down, and then we had another NBL bounce, noting that most of the TDI is below the 50 level, meaning that we're still bearish. And also we respected these order blocks. So these are very useful ways to use the TDI. Let me see this one. So here we had a shark fin at extreme levels, and then we had a market baseline bounce here, and we were above the 50 level, and the market baseline started to be flat. So that is okay for going long, and we respected this order block and continued up. So yes, and then we saw a nice intraday pattern to the upside. Let me just undo these drawings. Apologies for my daughter in the background. She does go on. And then we had a bounce onto the NBL, and we were above the 50. So that's a bullish sign. So look for whether most of the price action is above or below the 50, and where the NBL is and the direction of the NBL. Those things are very, very useful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for joining me and watching. Take care. Thanks for now.